In 1988 and 1989, Michael Keaton played both Beetlejuice and Batman. And now, in 2023 and 2024, he does it again. Michael Keaton is a freaking legend. Hey movie buffs, I'm Jack Benner, and welcome to my review of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Oh, not gonna say it for a third time, am I? Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is the long-awaited sequel to 1988's Beetlejuice. Tim Burton is back directing this sequel, and you got the old cast of Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, along with new additions to the cast such as Jenna Ortega, Willem Dafoe, and many others. Set 36 years after the first film, 3 generations of the Dietz family return home to Winter River after a tragedy in the Dietz family when Lydia's daughter Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega, accidentally opens a portal to the afterlife. Lydia, once again played by Winona Ryder, calls back Beetlejuice, once again played by Michael Keaton, to save her daughter. Before I get into my review, any new viewers coming across my channel for the first time, welcome to my channel. I am Jack Benner. I talk about movies on here. I do movie reviews. From time to time, I do some lists on here. So you like movie content? You like what you see so far? Definitely considering that like and subscribe button for more exciting movie content down the road. And now, on with the review.
It's showtime.
A few days before I saw Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, I went back to revisit the first Beetlejuice, and this still remains as one of Tim Burton's best and iconic films in his filmography. With his unique, wacky style, it's funny, creepy, and also a fun movie to watch around Halloween, and I remember this movie freaking me out as a kid. From the entertaining cast, especially a show-stopping performance from Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, very impressive makeup and stop-motion effects for its time, and even won the Oscar for Best Makeup. A sequel to Beetlejuice has been in development hell for over 30 years, from different sequel ideas and rewrites and trying to get Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder back. And it wasn't until 2022 that they got the sequel back up and running, getting a cast ready, Tim Burton back directing, and I was excited that the sequel was finally happening, even if I was skeptical that Tim Burton, as unique as he is, he's definitely hit and miss. There are definitely films I love from him, like the first Beetlejuice movie, as I said earlier, Edward Scissorhands, his Batman film, Sweeney Todd. But he also has some duds, like Alice in Wonderland, Mars Attacks, not a fan of that, Planet of the Apes remake, and his last theatrical film 5 years ago, the Dumbo remake, which I saw in theaters, but I don't remember a single goddamn thing about that movie. So I was curious if the sequel was truly worth the wait. And when that first trailer came out, it did look very promising, indicating that this legacy sequel was in good hands. Tim Burton back to his roots, Michael Keaton being as great as ever, and it did have the potential for an interesting new story. And legacy sequels can also be hit and miss too. There are some fantastic ones like Mad Max Fury Road, Creed, Blade Runner 2049, and Top Gun Maverick. But then again, we would also get terrible legacy sequels such as Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker and Jurassic World Dominion, so let's see if Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is in the right direction of legacy sequels. And fortunately, the film did receive generally positive reviews, and some from the Telluride Film Festival, and those positive reviews did get me more excited about this sequel. I saw Beetlejuice Beetlejuice on Wednesday night. I saw it at an early access screening at my local AMC theaters. Thank you to my local AMC for the early screening. I went in with an open mind. Even if it wasn't going to be as good as that first film, I want a fun time here. And now having seen the film, I am happy to say I had a wild and fun time with Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Is it as good as the first film? No. But does it have its flaws? Yeah, I'll get to those later. But this is certainly one of the better films Tim Burton has done in a long time, and is such a fun time. Let's start with the pros. First, the cast is top-notch, both old and new. To start with the big guns, it is hard to believe that Michael Keaton is in his 70s, and seeing him return to his famous characters effortlessly and charismatically was absolutely delightful. Even though I really did not like The Flash last year, he was the best part in that film as Batman. Here in Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, Michael Keaton has never missed a beat, maintaining his excellent comedic timing, presence, manic energy, and zaniness. Keaton himself said that Beetlejuice is his favorite film of his own. Watching these two movies, it is crystal clear how much he loves this character dearly and how much he gives it his all to the role. Not only is he very entertaining in this movie, but it was also interesting to see his past, delving into his backstory. and how he died and how he ended up in the afterlife. I was really hoping to see more of that from the first film, and it was quite interesting to see here in this sequel. It was quite a treat to see him get more screen time and more backstory, but he also doesn't overstay his welcome nor overdo his comedic shtick where it becomes tiresome, and it never really feels like a parody of the character like Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean 4 and 5, whereas more screen time he gets, it just starts to feel like a silly parody of the character. Like with that first film, when he was first introduced, I was immediately grinning, and he was such a blast to watch in this movie. And as for the returning actors, Winona Ryder does a terrific job playing an older and different version of Lydia Deetz compared to the first film. Her being traumatized by Beetlejuice, her running a supernatural talk show, and having an estranged relationship with her daughter. Ryder does a great job conveying all of that, making for a natural progression of the character in an interesting direction. And this is honestly the funniest Catherine O'Hara has been in years, and there were many scenes in this movie that were laugh out loud hilarious. Oh my god. And as for the new actors in the film, Jenna Ortega continues to prove why she's a great, young, talented actress. And she continues to prove that not only here, but with Wednesday and the last two Scream movies. With this and Wednesday, it's almost like she's tailor-made to be in Tim Burton projects. She's funny, nails playing that angsty teenager, and does great in the emotional scenes. And one of my favorite new additions was Willem Dafoe, who plays a detective in the afterlife who used to be an actor in B movies. And come on, it's Willem Dafoe. He's the freaking GOAT. He can make anything better. And Monica Bellucci is great as Beetlejuice's wife. Just from her killer first scene that set the stage for her character, and Austin Powers gave her a great presence. As much as Tim Burton said he dislikes doing studio movies, but he found directing this sequel to be an enjoyable experience, I could see why. Because Beetlejuice felt like a classic return to form for him. It always felt like Burton going back to his roots by being quirky, eccentric, his strange and unique style as a visionary filmmaker. It's very refreshing to see Burton infuse so much energy, passion, and entertainment into this sequel. And as for the technical aspects of this movie, this is a fantastic looking movie. From the wicked costumes, production design, and makeup. The first film won the Oscar for Best Makeup. Could this sequel win the Oscar for Best Makeup? I think it could get a nomination. We'll see if it wins. And another refreshing aspect about this sequel was it still uses practical effects and sets, and still relying on stop motion animation that gives it an old school classic feeling, rather than just overusing CGI and making a CG heavy sequel. Not only is it a very funny film that's wildly entertaining, but it also does have a good heartfelt story at its center that avoids being style over substance, focusing on death, family, and your past history. It's admirable how the sequel avoids rehashing the predecessor. Although it does have a few callbacks and similarities to that first film, you'll likely recognize, oh yeah, that's from the first film. Oh yeah, I remember that scene from the first film. It doesn't overuse that too much like remember this and remember that, but instead tells an entertaining and engaging continuation that progresses its story and characters organically and in a satisfying way. Especially the mother and daughter relationship between Lydia and Astrid was the emotional core of the film and one of the strongest aspects of that film. Their friction with each other and Astrid's father who passed away. It's great to see Burton didn't forget that emotional core at the same time and not just focusing on making a wacky sequel. And another thing I really appreciated about this sequel was the exploration of the afterlife. It gets to be expanded more, it feels more lived in and engrossing, and that expansion of the afterlife elevated more as an entertaining and unique time. And also, this sequel did quite push the boundary for PG-13. It was a little gorier and gnarlier than I expected. I thought maybe it would play it safe a little bit, but it quite went in some directions, a little bit dark directions, like, okay, I did not expect that at all. Sadly, I do have some flaws with this movie. I will get to those right now. First, my main issue with Beetlejuice is the story can feel overstuffed at points. In the middle of the film, it tries to balance so many different characters and storylines going on that it starts to feel like catch up. I was like, okay, here what that character is doing, and here what that character is doing, here what that's going on. it does make the story a little uneven, where one storyline was a little more interesting than the other, and I felt like the predecessor had a much more simplistic story. And second, there is a subplot with Astrid meeting a boy in the film, and there is a twist involving this boy that I honestly didn't expect. I was like, ooh, that's quite surprising. And honestly, I really like what they're doing that. Let's see what else they do with it. And then later in the film, it gets abruptly dropped, and it didn't really add to that much, which was underwhelming. And Justin Theroux is in this film. He plays Lydia's new boyfriend in the film. He does a decent job and does have its funny moments here and there, but for the most part, he just plays an evil douchebag boyfriend, and he later becomes her fiance, wants to marry her quickly, and you really know what his true intentions are, and it's quite predictable with his character and what his resolution's going to be. As much as I really like Monica Bellucci's character earlier in the film, how they ended her character was really underwhelming and anticlimactic. I was like, oh, that's it with her character? And they just ended her character abruptly, where it almost feels like an afterthought with her character. To sum up, despite an overstuffed story and some predictable moments, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice succeeds as a wild, funny, satisfying, and entertaining legacy sequel. From the terrific cast, both old and new, Michael Keaton shines like a star. Tim Burton back to his classic and wacky roots, fantastic technical aspects, and an interesting and worthy continuation of the story and characters. I definitely recommend this movie to you if you're fans of that first Beetlejuice movie, excited for the sequel. If you love that first Beetlejuice movie, I think you're going to enjoy this sequel, or if you're fans of Tim Burton as a director, this is one of the better films he's done in a while. Or if you're looking for a fun movie to start the fall movie-going season, you definitely got it here with Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Even if you weren't a fan of that first Beetlejuice movie or really found Tim Burton to be hit and miss over the years, I do think you should give the sequel a chance. I think there's something to enjoy here. And this film is aiming for a huge opening weekend. I think it could be between 100 million and 110 million opening weekend. Three factors to that being, one, Beetlejuice is a classic with both Tim Burton and Michael Keaton back. 2, Jenna Ortega's increased popularity after Wednesday. And 3, this is the first big movie to start the fall movie-going season, and coming out the right time, first week of September, to get us excited for spooky season, to which I definitely am. And with both the positive reviews and a huge opening weekend, I am definitely excited for the fall. And now it's graded, I'm going to give Beetlejuice Beetlejuice 3.5 stars out of 5, a B. If by any chance Burton and company want to proceed with a third Beetlejuice movie, although if they don't call it Beetlejuice Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, that would be a huge missed opportunity, and given how this movie ends, I would actually be down for a third Beetlejuice movie at some point in the future, and hopefully it won't take too long to make like this sequel did. So definitely go see Beetlejuice Beetlejuice this weekend, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it. So I would like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice if you have seen it? Do you agree, disagree with my review? Or if you haven't seen it, are you interested in seeing the film or not? Let me know down below. Did you enjoy hearing my thoughts on this movie and want to see more reviews like this in the future? If yes, please hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here, and don't forget that notification bell for my next upload in the future. It really means a lot. My social media links will be in the description down below. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you want to see my written reviews, I do have a Letterboxd account, so if you'd like to follow me on there as well. And until the next video, I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.